We viewed her as a mortal, an essential part of the fabric of our world. There is, of course, an outpouring of grief and love across the globe. She was universally adored. She represented good in this world, living a life of honour, a life dedicated to service, dedicated to bettering the lives of others.
Well said, James Corden, again on last night's Late Late Show, adding his voice to the millions remembering Queen Elizabeth with great love and certainly great respect. We welcome you back to CBS Mornings. We're also taking a look back at the Queen's very long and distinguished reign, longer than any other British monarch. It was not the life that she or anybody else would have expected when she was born April 21st, 1926. Mark Phillips reported on many of the milestones in her extraordinary life. He's outside Buckingham Palace with more little nuggets that only Mark Phillips can share. Mark, I think about her life that she knew when she was 10 years old that one day she was going to be queen. It's extraordinary.
Good morning. Well, yes, indeed. Elizabeth did not know when she was a child that she was destined to be queen. That happened as a matter of some royal accident, which we'll get into. But, you know, it's always difficult to try to sum up the public mood in these sorts of things. There is, however, no difficulty this time. There's a palpable sense of sadness that is hanging over Britain, and I suggest over much of the world. The initial shock may have worn off a little bit, but it's been replaced by a sense of sadness. Sadness for the woman who is now gone, who led us through so much history, and who made so much of her own. For a woman who was not born to be queen, the public outpouring of affection for Elizabeth during the celebration of her 70th year on the throne was a tribute to her and to how well she had done her job. Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor, Queen Elizabeth II, reinvented the British monarchy and may have saved it. Elizabeth was already 10 years old when another royal drama led to her becoming heir to the throne. In 1936, her uncle, Edward VIII, abdicated to marry the American divorcee Wallis Simpson, and the royal line shifted to her father, George VI, and so to her. The young Princess Elizabeth was already a public favorite.
I am sure that you are often thinking of the old country.
During the Second World War, she had worked to raise the country's morale,
To make the world of tomorrow a better and happier place.
and she had also served as a volunteer in the war effort. Her marriage to Philip Mountbatten, an anglicized member of the deposed Greek royal family, gave a war-weary country something to celebrate. And the children the marriage produced, first Charles and then Anne, secured the future. Elizabeth's coronation in 1953 was the first ever to be televised. Its combination of ancient ceremony and glittering glamour cemented her as the personification of Britain's post-war rebirth. And it began a reign with a singular purpose.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service.
Elizabeth's reign would be the longest ever in a royal bloodline that goes back over 1,000 years. But the royal ride was sometimes bumpy. The stability and continuity the monarchy was supposed to provide began to look shaky as one by one the royal marriages broke down around her. Her sister Margaret's, her daughter Anne's, her son Andrew's. They all ended in awkward divorces. None was uglier than the breakup of Prince Charles and Diana Spencer. The long public unraveling of the marriage of the heir to the throne seemed to shake the very foundations of the royal household. When, in the early 1990s, Windsor Castle also went up in flames, the Queen's famous stoicism was tested.
1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure. In the words of one of my more sympathetic correspondents, it has turned out to be an annus horribilis.
However horrible the year, the Windsor Castle fire and the public complaints over the skyrocketing repair costs produced a turning point in royal history. Monarchs normally collect taxes, but from then on, the Queen agreed to pay taxes on her income. Royal behavior was also changed by the shocking death of Diana in that Paris car crash. The national outpouring of grief seemed to highlight the emotional gap between the Queen and her people. Elizabeth did much to repair the damage with a single bow of the head to the passing coffin of a popular princess. There would be other challenges, one of the most serious centering around the wife of one of Diana's sons. When Prince Harry's biracial American wife, Meghan Markle, complained of mistreatment by palace officials, the couple renounced the royal life and moved to California. When Elizabeth's husband, Prince Philip, died, she was left alone. But in a decision some questioned, she defiantly chose her son Andrew to escort her at Philip's memorial service, even though he had been disgraced by his association with the sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. In 7 decades on the throne, Elizabeth redefined the monarchy, remade it for a more modern, less deferential age. And in the process, she became not just the Queen of Great Britain, she became, in a way, Queen of the world. The days are long gone when the monarchy exercised hard political power here, but Elizabeth invented something else: soft power, influence. She had plenty of that, and we'll now see just how much that is missed.
We are about to find out, indeed. Influence is definitely something that she managed to cultivate in her long reign. Mark Phillips for us in London. Mark, thank you very much. We've been hearing that clip over and over again, in which, as a young woman, she says, "I dedicate my life to service," whether it be long or short. Later in that same address, she says, but she cannot do it without the public support. And boy, did she get it. 3 out of 4 people in the UK support her and approve of what she did. Think about that. I mean, it's hard to think of anybody or thing that has 75% approval rating.
And for most people, they didn't know anybody other than Queen Elizabeth II. That's why I marvel at, she really did embody that keep calm and carry on under all circumstances.
As Mark Phillips said, reinvented the monarchy and possibly even saved it.
Yes.